What is going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Wednesday, December 8th, 2021. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, fixed air moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. I do appreciate you all so much. As always, I hope that your week's going well up into this hump day, Mercury day, right in the middle of the week. Mercury's done with the squares to Neptune, so that's definitely nice. Got a moon in Aquarius, so we're very interesting. It's a very interesting week. Sun in Sag, it starts out at 16 degrees, gonna come to 17. I feel like yesterday and even this morning could have opened up some big like spiritual doorways in our life on this journey. And then it's almost like, yeah, we really do want to dedicate. And of course, the moon was with Saturn yesterday in Aquarius. And it's like, all right, there's decisions to make. And, we have a very strong Saturn plus 10. I mean, it's been strong for a long time. This is not new energy to us, but gosh, there's such a like Saturnian energy to where this journey's going and like what you decide to do, what route to take. And Mercury's over here in detriment in Sagittarius, definitely like, oh my gosh, there's so many options. How do I figure this out? Came off squares to Neptune, so it just hasn't been like the easiest week, or maybe there wasn't the most clarity mentally. But at the same time, there's definitely a lot of visions out there and a lot of opportunity, and I think a lot to be positive and hopeful for. But it's like you kind of got to dedicate to a path here, and that's even Sagittarius in a sense, right? Like it is the archer with the bow and the arrow, so we can have all this unbound creativity and sort of this great potential and this great journey. But we got to aim that arrow and aim our lives here in a direction. So I think today really does feel like we had the opportunity to detach enough with the moon like planted here in the middle of Aquarius, and gonna finish off the day close to Jupiter, but it's only gonna come to 24 degrees today, which actually is my moon in Aquarius. So I have my lunar return this evening. But I think it's like we gotta kind of take a step back, and I think yesterday was a good help for that, and almost like listen to where the divine calling is going. And today's kind of like, okay, there's a journey here. We just got to decide on the route we want to take. And I would say that the big deal this week is Venus coming to 24 degrees and getting really close to Pluto. So we're starting to really see where we have to decide about what we're going to bring, how we're going to bring beauty into our life. And I think that a lot of this quest that we're on involves with Venus being here with Pluto and then retrograding back over Pluto. It's very, we're cutting ties with what the value of the old system or the old journey was, as we really are after that solar eclipse in Sagittarius, starting this big new cycle of a big quest and a big journey. And I think a lot of it has to do with our destiny. Capricorn's our destiny, our mission. So it's almost like we have to be comfortable with letting go of certain aspects in our life that are no longer of a purpose. They don't serve a purpose anymore in our life. I mean, this of course can bring up relationship aspects, and with relationships, it's almost like ditching codependency and really having to dig deep and let some things or some people or some stories or some aspects of where we were die off, so that we can really pack the necessities, really pack what's going to help us get to the top of this mountain in Capricorn, as we're even approaching Capricorn season. And there's a lot of energy coming into that archetypal energy just within our collective. So yeah, I mean, I think that this is where we can detach enough to make some pretty positive decisions, but we have to like dedicate to a path, and then also not get too attached to the outcome yet. And maybe we can already see where things are kind of like, no, this isn't going to fit in the bag. This isn't going to fit in the trunk on the journey. I just got to cut ties with it. We can already be seeing that, but it's kind of building very intensely. And Venus is just going to get real comfortable with Pluto, which Pluto is, transformational energy, death, rebirth energy. And this is a long drawn out aspect that we're dealing with. So we kind of have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. It's kind of like what this tells me. And even when we get comfortable in the uncomfortable, we have to be willing to go back over it and like be willing to keep persevering and keep seeing what has integrity in our life. on this journey. And I think that the moon in Aquarius is really helping us because instead of being superly overly emotional and sensitive to the matter, we can kind of be cold and cut through. And especially with Mars finishing the square to Jupiter and even the moon approaching that square to Mars in the evening, which won't happen until early tomorrow morning, but like kind of emotionally ready to detach and cut ties with aspects that we're not passionate for or that don't meet sort of the bottom line that we've been looking for. And even Mars coming off the sextile to Pluto is like, all right, I think we got into a pretty solid bottom line within ourselves, but we have to be willing to not be persuaded by outside energy. I think that a lot of this is coming back to an individual sense of your destiny and your journey. And like everything up into this point was like, are you going to go on this quest to your destiny or not? And then the Mars is getting close to the south node here as it's going to make its ingress, which will be on the 1st, on the 13th. So, gosh, we just can't identify with the old story anymore. We're going to feel kind of like a loser. South node Mars is kind of loser energy, and North node Mars is winner energy, and the North node's going to be in opposition to that Mars, which we did have Mars North node in April come together. And again, this is like really taking that quick identification of self and knowing how to make pivots without being too dogmatic about some ego driven aspect of I don't know, and then come back to this Pluto and Venus about like a relationship and trying to hold on to something that's not there, or a job that's not giving you what you desire anymore, or just giving you the surface level aspect of reality. There's big changes taking place right now, and I think it's not like a terrible thing. And we're going to see the moon make good aspects over to Mercury with that sextile, and gosh, like we can really start to emotionally understand the quest if we can detach from aspects that are just no longer, they don't make sense anymore. We really want to go into the new story, and anything that's of the new and transforming your life for your deepest passion, your deepest sense of self, is going to feel more wide open and more expansive and more free. And anything that's of the old, we're just in a place right now where you're playing a game that doesn't have it's not going to have a satisfying outcome. So I think today's very important on this quest to dedicate to a direction, to dedicate to where the story that feels right to you is meant to go. And if that involves like liberating yourself, because the moon's in Aquarius and it's even coming off a square to Uranus and Saturn square Uranus, like we have got to be liberating ourselves right now for our unique value system and connecting with people that want to build something similar and kind of go in that same direction. Like who's in our life right now and in our community, in our personal lives and family, like who's aiming their arrow in the direction with you, and not trying to have you just believe some story that isn't of your divine nature, isn't of your true essence and your story. So we're in this place of even with the sun building up a square to Neptune, going to be within 3 degrees by the end of the day. We do not want to get spelled into the past or into what anything outside of us is trying to tell us is the way. This is where I do believe that we know our way enough at this point to at least dedicate to a direction, and that's going to help us liberate ourselves. And even by the end of the day with Moon Jupiter, and it will be square Mars, but we can cut away an old story into our liberated abundance and to see like where we can really connect the dots in our life that we want to see, and what the best way forward is. But it's not the old way. That's getting a revamp and a redo, and today's just starting to really ramp up the energy with that. And it's like we can really play tricks on ourselves, but I would say even the stuff outside of us can try and play tricks on us to convince us to go through more, I don't know, I almost feel like it's pain in some ways, or like it's masochistic energy with Venus and Pluto in Capricorn. And it's like, that's not, going to bring us the beautiful future we're looking for. It's almost like really ready to cut ties with that old story. You've dealt with that karma. But this can feel like very karmic ties too, with Pluto in Capricorn and Venus there. So it's choices. There's choices and dedications and a path to take. And if you're taking the one that you're most aligned with, you're going to see things start to open up, and you could feel some abundance coming towards the evening today, I do believe. But yeah, and Mars getting ready to, finish up here in Scorpio this week. It's getting edgy. It's getting edgy, and I mentioned that in the weekly, I think. Like, gosh, your edge is so important right now. Even Jupiter's going to come to 27 degrees by the end of the week of Aquarius. I mean, in Aquarius and Scorpio are very edgy energies in general. Like, you look at, like, Aquariuses and Scorpios, like, they usually got some tattoos. They're doing things their own way. We want to embrace that part of ourselves that's doing it our own way, that is aiming in a direction that feels most wide open and abundant for our lives. And whatever it is that tries to cling on to us, because, right, Pluto, Scorpio, Venus is not very happy in Scorpio. It gets through and it teaches us how to attract, but we do not want to be holding on to some garbage in our life right now. It's really time to get out of that situation. So whatever we have to cut ties with, it's really trying to, and this could play out for a long time. This is a whole month transit here, but we're starting to really feel it intensely now. And whatever's trying to phase out of our lives, the easier we can let go of that and go through the transformational process and be adaptable and changeable and still hold our unique deep edge. Like, it probably won't be so hard, but if you're like restricting your edge or restricting what you really need in life right now, or what you really feel within your heart isn't taking you to the next step, with this Capricorn energy. It's always got to go the next step in Capricorn. It's never satisfied at just one. There's always something more. So there's more out there for us, but we have to almost realize that we're carrying too much baggage from the old story, and we're starting to see what parts of that aren't going to make it. And that can be hard, but some people, it can also be excited for that and be like, I'm ready to drop this off. So I love you all very much. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's definitely like a prep day coming up for Saturday with Sun square Neptune with a first quarter square of the moon in Pisces. I think that's pretty intense. Actually, that might be Friday, not Saturday, but we're getting there. I do appreciate you all very much. Sending you all my best, of course. And what is the card for today? Queen of Pentacles reverse. I swear we've been getting this card a ton lately, and like, we are really in a place of transforming our values to kind of redefine what's comfortable and what's getting to the top here, and what's meant for the destiny and what wasn't. Like, there's just karma at play, I feel like, and I can't get out of that channel. And it's like, we do not need to hold on to certain parts of that karmic story. Like, yeah, sure, some might come with us, but there's certain parts that you already know are not holding value in your life anymore, and they've almost been dealt with. And it's like, okay, just stop. They don't hold value. And sure, it's a little uncomfortable. We might not feel secure with the changes right away, but it's kind of having faith too with Sagittarius, that if you're willing to cut ties with something, you'll be able to get farther on the journey that you ultimately want to be on, that does have more value, that actually will bring more, security into your life, or more of a like self-love. Especially, I would say that this Venus-Pluto transit here this December is it's transforming our self-love with ourself, and getting us out of like making decisions based on like this masochistic kind of, I'll do this for you even though I don't want to do it, and I'll just go through the pain. Like, I don't think as individuals we're ready. Like, I feel like that was part of the old story. Like, we're really ready to go in directions with people and our values that, our heart truly wants. And I feel like we're starting to see what parts of that have to go. Why did we get that card? Judgment, upright. Amazing. I haven't pulled Judgment in a while. Yeah, I mean, it just feels like that destiny's call, right? And it's no coincidence. Even David Palmer, right, the Leo King, he put out Destiny's Call on his YouTube recently. He felt called to do that for a reason. Like, there's like this, it's kind of judgment time, and trumpets are blazing to go and choose your journey right now that doesn't restrict you, and that actually will open things up in a very positive way. But it's like we're still a little worried about cutting ties with old comforts, and I know that's hard, but we really want to be able to detach and objectify with this moon in Aquarius, so that you can figure that stuff out and It is going to make good aspects, of course, with Mercury. So I think we can actually understand more of our personal life and more of our emotions than we've been able to recently. So this is good. Wherever the trumpets are blazing for you to go at or follow today, follow where the trumpets are going, and there's abundance at the end, as the moon will finish off the day with Jupiter. So anything that you can follow that feels destined, especially in eclipse season, we're still in it. Very, very destined times. So follow that destined, sound in the distance as we're in Sag season, and go out there and see. Because, until you actually go out and explore and see, like, do you really know? And a Sagittarius might say they do, and they might. But we're all kind of in a place right now, too, where we got to experience this journey for ourselves and see for ourselves. And there's only one way to do that, and that's to dedicate and go. I love you all very much. I hope you have a beautiful Wednesday. I will see you all very soon. Much love. Peace.